Good evening. It is Saturday, May 14th, 2011. This entry is, I would like to say, an addition to the dumb pothead entry that was made quite a few videos back. Before I get into why I'm calling it that, I'd just like to explain a few things that have been going on lately. I want to ask you to bear with me because I believe that I've had a small stroke. The immense stress, pain, anxiety, suffering, and flat out struggling that I've had to go through for no less than the last 18 months to get to the point that I'm almost at right now has proven to be difficult, to say the least. I'm having trouble now forming my sentences properly. If I start to slur my words a little bit, don't be surprised. As of the last 3 or 4 days now, that's been the norm. When I stand up, and even now, I feel a bit vertigo. I've been sitting here for about 20 minutes with this cryo cuff on my foot. My foot is very sore and swollen, and so I'm trying to take care of it the best way I have to do so, which is this miracle of modern medicine right here. I am in extreme pain from head to toe. Last night, I got to the point where it was necessary for me to call an ambulance to take me to the hospital because of the fact that there is no one in this building who has a car. I have a car. I don't have a driver's license. My car is some almost 30 miles away from here. It's been sitting for a very long time and needs some work before it can even be registered and inspected and all that other stuff. As you know, if you've been watching my series, my battles for the use of medical marijuana, my license is under suspension for a first offense OUI, which occurred on February 3rd of 2010. The suspension period for that offense, according to the law of the state of Maine, was 90 days. But because of the bureaucracy and the way they've got the system set up to soak money out of you, they've managed to retain my license now for more than a year and a half, or coming up on a year and a half. In spite of the fact that I have voluntarily put myself through and have accomplished far and above, way more than anything that is required by the state of Maine to get my license back. The fact is, it's a money game, people, just like modern medicine is. Neither one has anything to do with your wealth and well-being. It has everything to do with putting a swimming pool in some rich person's backyard, so to speak. Metaphorically, of course. I called the ambulance last night because like I say, I believe that I've had a stroke. Why do I say that? Well, because the whole left side of my body has a cold, numb kind of feeling. The left side of my face is partially immobile. And I have this constant feeling of vertigo and disorientation. When I stand up, I feel like I'm drunk. And I have had no medications at all. Period. I stopped using chemical man-made poisons more than a month ago. My last hit off of marijuana was 2 weeks ago. I've had 0 alcohol and will never again touch the shit. Just as I will never again touch pharmaceutical drugs, with the exception of blood pressure medicines. Unfortunately, to this point, I haven't been able to find a natural and reliable way to treat my high blood pressure. Upon arriving at the hospital last night by ambulance, I informed the doctor there, Dr. Raymond, of what my fear and concern was, that I believe I've suffered a stroke. After asking me a few questions and not running a single test, he came to the conclusion that all I need is to get back on the drugs that Dr. Harris had me on, and I would be fine. Ladies and gentlemen, it is, in my opinion, that it is a direct result of those drugs and others that doctors like Dr. Harris have had me on for the last 16 years that have resulted in my high blood pressure and now quite possibly a stroke. I am allergic to atenolol. I mean, not atenolol, Toradol. It causes a severe itching reaction throughout my whole body. Unfortunately, that means that I'm allergic to the whole family of aspirin medications. That's too bad, because I believe that aspirin is one of the few man-made drugs that is actually a good drug. A good medicine, that is. All the other crap that the chemists and so-called doctors are pushing on society today are, in my opinion, drugs, poisons, designed specifically to mask one symptom while causing others, thus resulting in the necessity of another medication to mask those symptoms, which in turn causes other symptoms, and so on, and so on, and so on. This is how they make their money, people. Doctors, like Dr. Harris, make their money by writing prescriptions. They stand to gain absolutely nothing by curing the patient, or by giving the patient the right to take care of themselves in the best way that suits them. They don't treat you according to your needs. They treat you according to the needs of their wallets. I got a call from Northeast Community Care, my insurance supplier. Was, I think, day before yesterday. I'm kind of losing track of time. I've been under a hell of a lot of stress lately, and there's been an awful lot going on. And it's been everything that this dumb pothead could do to keep track of it all, to keep myself and others in check, and to make sure that everything is going as according to God's plan. They wanted to know, Northeast Community Care, that is, wanted to know why I was without a primary care physician. They apparently received an emergency room bill and had no one to contact as far as a primary care physician or whatever. I told them that I fired Dr. Harris because he refuses to treat me according to my needs. He's absolutely sold on pharmaceutical drugs, and we all know why. So I fired him, because those drugs are not helping me. They are making me sicker and sicker and sicker. I told them that as soon as I can find a local doctor who will care for me in the way that I need to be cared for, and that is through the use of natural, holistic medical approaches, they will just have to continue paying emergency room fees. because I absolutely will not ever again be under the care of a doctor who refuses to recognize God's medicines, such as marijuana, and there are others. They told me, okay, we will see if we can find one in your area and call you back. I have not heard from them since. Just goes to show that there are none. There are no doctors in Aroostook County that are willing to recognize God's medicines. They all treat you according to their wallet and not according to your needs. Now, Dr. Harris, for the longest time, I thought was my friend. I thought he was a good doctor. He had me sold on that because where no one else seemed to be able to get me the care I needed to fix my feet up after having had them smashed to smithereens, he did. But let's remember how that happened, people. Look back in my footage and you will see how that happened. I literally forced that man to help me by telling his emergency room that if they discharged me again in the condition that I was in, they were to discharge me to the street because I was sending the ambulance home. And from there, I would use a cell phone to call the news, and we would get some shit done around here. And right away, don't you know, I got the help that I needed. People started jumping around like Mexican jumping beans. I don't mean to insult the Mexicans. It's just I don't know what else to call those beans. That's what I've always known them as, Mexican jumping beans, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. That is not an insult to anybody's ethnic religion or ethnicity. Please bear with me. As I said, I'm having a hard time forming thoughts. I will get to the point. I have been referred to as a dumb pothead all of my life. In spite of the many, many beautiful things that I have accomplished. Not for myself, but for others. Many times sacrificing my own comfort for someone else's. I was told at the emergency room last night when I asked why. I asked Dr. Raymond, a doctor that I'd been seeing there for more than 20 years now. I said, Doc, look me straight in the eye and be straight with me now. Why is it that doctors in Aroostook County refuse to treat people holistically according to the law of the state of Maine. It's been a law now for 3 years, yet they refuse to recognize that law. People, if I was to do that, I'd be in jail right now. Every single time in my life that I have refused to recognize a law, I have paid the price for it. Yet this whole county has refused to recognize the law of the state of Maine for 3 years now, and no one is doing a damn thing about it. Since I started my crusade to fix that, I've been attacked by everyone around me. Everyone around me has told me to stop, shut up, stop making waves, you're doing it the wrong way. Be quiet, do it under the scenes, hide, be ashamed. No, no more. I am who I am. And I have a right to be that, just as you have the right to be as you are. You have the right to use your voice, and I have the right to use mine as well. Thanks to the power of YouTube, my voice is just as loud as yours. Just as loud. I was told by Dr. Raymond that maybe I should look south, move south to where, south of Aroostook County, to where people are recognizing the law in the state of Maine, to get the help that I need. I told that doctor straight up, this is my home. You will not force me out of it. You will not drive me away from it. This is my home. And he said, well, maybe you could look into obtaining a doctor 300 miles away to be your primary care physician. And I told him again, do you think it's wise for a person in my condition with the disabilities that I have to have a primary care physician that's 300 miles removed? He had no answer to that and actually just turned around and walked away. After further discussion, I made it known to him, because he kept suggesting that I should go back on the rainbow of poisons that Dr. Harris had me on. I made a point of telling him that I was not going to do that. He and other doctors in this area have the right to give me the right to take care of myself in the way that I know I need to. What works best for me. And by not doing so, since I refuse to take their poisons, they are allowing me to die. Then I told him, if that's what it takes, if my death is what it takes to make my point will be made. And the autopsy that follows that death will prove beyond shadow of doubt what it was that caused my death. Then maybe my point will finally be made. And trust me, people, I've gone out of this state to an independent coroner to do that autopsy. So when I die, make no mistake about it, the truth will come out. As I said before, people, I am not asking for much. I am asking for the same right that every human being on this planet is born with, which is the right to take care of myself. When I mention the idea that we, in the end, are our own doctors, I'm smit at. They look at me like I'm crazy. They even say so. No way. You can't take care of yourself. You can't be your own doctor. And I looked at them and I tell them, no one but you can determine what goes into your body and what does not. You have the final word, yes or no. The only thing a doctor or a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a social mental health worker, any of them, the only thing that any one of them can do is make suggestions and recommendations. It is up to you to shop around and find the ones that fit your needs the best, which makes you the doctor. They are nothing more than consultants. Nothing more than consultants. You don't have to take their advice. You don't have to take their drugs. You don't have to do anything they tell you to do. You have the right to say no. You have the right to make up your own mind. What I'm trying to say here, people, is stop being cattle. Come back to the human race. Stop sticking your head in that trough and eating whatever the bullshit that is they give you that day. Lift your head up and look around and see where that bullshit's coming from. And whose purpose does it serve? Because I'm going to tell you now, it doesn't serve your purpose. Not at all. I've had enough of the cryo cuff for now. My foot is starting to feel a bit better. It's nice and cold, and the swelling, I'm sure, has gone down quite a bit now. So, to get back to the dumb pothead part of this entry into my logs, my battles for the use of medical marijuana, I would just like to show you what 18 months of fighting, cussing, kicking, screaming, scratching, doing everything except for being quiet, hiding, shutting up, being ashamed, has gotten me. And I would like to show you how this dumb pothead would choose to live if allowed to do so on my own, as I would like to. I finally, after 16 years after 16 years of trying to get to this point after becoming disabled, as I have already described to you how that happened, 16 years later, people, I am finally independent, living the way I want to live by my rules in my home, my way. And I'd just like to show you how that is. This dumb pothead would like to live on his own and has been denied the right to do so for 16 years now. Let me just show you this, if I can get this to behave right here. I'm going to come over. Bear with me. Like I said, I think I've had a stroke and I'm having to move very slowly and carefully. You're going to notice a change in the picture because I'm unplugging the power source here. But it should still be working because I got a good battery on there. Now, I'm still in the process of getting moved in, people. You know, I've got all my tools here. As a matter of fact, I have been asked, because of my skills and my knowledge in the field of construction, I have been asked by the owner of this building to take on the responsibility of the care of this building as I can at my own pace, and I have told him that I would do so in lieu of the rent that I owe him over and above the HUD housing assistance that I get. This, my people, this is the way this dumb pothead chooses to live. And I'm not finished yet. You know, I still got things to do. That table I'm going to be reducing in size and making removable so that the stand can go into that closet and the tabletop can go onto that wall with a picture of wolves on it. And it will be removable easily back to a table so that it's up there when it's not being used and a table when it is being used. I did all of this. That shelving I did myself. This is 1 week, people. 1 week I've been living in here. When I came in here, this was a shell of apartment. There was nothing in here. Okay? The graciousness of the other occupants of this building have set me up with some pretty nice furniture. This couch, these coffee tables and end tables, this chair, this little table here. These are all gifts, mind you, from people who have nothing. Nothing. These are poor people. They don't even have a vehicle. I'm moving into a building with people who have nothing, but yet are willing to give away what they do have to help a fellow human being to be comfortable. What is the problem with rich people? Wealthy people simply do not think in those terms. Help somebody? Oh my God, no way. Oh, I can't do that. No way. As long as they're suffering, then I can manipulate them and make them do what I want them to do. People, that needs to change, man. That really needs to change, okay? I just want to continue to show you around, you know. I mean, I got some nice stuff. You know, I got technology. I'm all set, you know. I've written a book. This dumb pothead has written a book. I hung that mirror on the wall there because I found it in the basement and nobody wanted it. So I said, all right, I'll put it to use. Hung it on the wall. These snowshoes here were also in the basement and they were broken busted up. So I spent all day yesterday repairing them and hanging them on the wall for decoration. You know? And, oh wow, I just noticed my zoom is... No, the zoom's not too bad. Oh, alright. I thought I was zoomed in too close, but apparently I'm just not aiming the camera right. I need to pay attention to that, I guess. Anyway, you know, I got a nice computer. That computer stand, by the way, that computer stand comes from a lady downstairs. Same lady that gave me this chair. This is a brand new chair. This is an almost brand new computer stand. This lady has nothing. She's poor. And she by the way, came up here from Florida to get away from the badness that's down there. After having come up here for a visit with her friend, she saw how beautiful it was up here. How peaceful and nice it was up here. She decided to move up here because she wanted that. She wanted to live that way. Unfortunately, she was unaware of the fact that if you're not from here, you're not welcome here. That's the way they look at it. They even have their own private code language. They call it French, but it's not French. It's a mixture of Cajun, English, French. We call it frog leg, okay? A true French-speaking person would be insulted by the language they speak up here and call French. Okay. Anyway, she is now being forced out of here by these people, by the intolerance of these people to people who are not from here. She's being forced to move back down to Florida where let's face it, people, it's dangerous down there. There's a lot of bad shit going on down there. But she would rather go back to all of that bad shit than to stay here another year. Now, isn't that sad? Isn't that just a shame? And she's a good person, man. She really is a good person. She's got kids. Single mother. Big story there, and I'm not going to get into it. It's not my story. I'm just going to say that this woman is not a bad woman. And she deserves every bit as much of a chance to live in this kind of a peaceful, beautiful, quiet situation in society and raise her children in this kind of a situation as anybody else does. This area doesn't belong to these frog people up here. I don't know where they got that idea. Sure, they settled it, but you know, that was like 300 years ago. Get over it. It's the United States, man. The melting pot. You know, we're supposed to get along with each other here. Send us your poor, your weak, you know how it goes. You're penniless. You're sick. The ones who cannot help themselves, send them to us and we will help them. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Oh, I just, you know, that's my own stuff there. I put that in there because, well, you know, I need some place to put all my remotes and my coffee and stuff like that. So, and you know, this here, another thing. The first gift that I was given moving into this apartment, a serenity fountain. Now, how do you beat that? Brand new, still in the package, from somebody who is just as poor as I am, gives this to me with a smile on their face, welcoming me into their little community. And society calls them the bad ones. Society calls them the scourge. Society soaks everything it can from them, even though they have nothing. This is another thing that I found down in the basement. Don't know who it belonged to. It belonged to somebody at some point. It was left there, I guess, in a hasty move when somebody left the building and just left it there. No one in the building now claims it, so I took it and I hung it up there as a spice rack. Give me a minute. Maybe I should spit it out and let you read it. But as you can see, I don't have any spices to put in it yet. I only have salt and pepper. So, you know, anyway, you know, this is the way I choose to live, okay? This is the way this dumb pothead and his cat chooses to live, all right? Me and Minton's, we ain't asking nothing from nobody. All right? I don't want anything from anybody. You know, I have the right to live my way just as you have the right to live your way. And people, give it up, man. Stop being so damn selfish, so damn money hungry. Stop. It's time now to be helpful, friendly. I like this thing when I spin it. You know, I'm going to give it a spin right here. And then come back here and show you what it looks like when it's spinning. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I mean, watch. Now it's going to go back the other way because I got it on a string there. Isn't that neat? You know, you look at it long enough, it will hypnotize you. It's pretty cool. I like it. Anyway, simple things, you know. I got the same thing over there. It's a hummingbird, you know, and I got my rainbow caster hung under that. You should see this place in the morning. The sun comes up over there and sets over there. So in the morning, first thing in the morning, I start my day out, as long as the sun is shining, with rainbows all over my apartment. Man, how can you beat that, huh? How can you beat that? And this right here right now is just a storage room. You know, I got my stuff in here that ain't got no place else to put it yet. You know. Oh, my drill doctor. I need to get that out of here. This is a very useful tool. Drill doctor. And I got several drill bits that need to be fixed. My parents set me up with that extra refrigerator, which I need to put together. But I need to scrub it out and clean it out really good first, and then I'm going to put it together. And that way I can stock it up, because let's face it, you never know when you're going to need provisions. You know, the Boy Scout in me tells me that I need to be prepared, you know. And that little refrigerator right there doesn't hold very much. Maybe 1-2 weeks worth of food at the most. But with that one and that one, I can hold probably almost a month's worth of food in this house. Plus, given the fact that I've got this huge pantry in here, you know, I got this huge pantry in here, which I'm going to fix up. You know, I mean, I'm just getting in here. I've only been in here a week, so give me a break, guys. You know, I'm going to fix this up so that I can have that for canned food storage and stuff like that. And right now I'm drying my laundry, a little bit of it. And you know, I got finally, for the first time in my life, I've got a tub that I can actually take a bath in, and not just you know, sit in a puddle of water. I can actually put my whole body underwater in that, and it's ergonomically designed. Look at this, you know, so it's rounded for your back, and over here you can rest your elbows on there and not hurt your elbows. You don't even feel it. You know how you got that point on your elbow? It's made so that your elbow fits right in there, you know. And anyway, you know, I've been ordered by Nikki, my sweetie, to relax. Day before yesterday, she gave me that order. And yesterday, even though I had promised her that I would do that, I didn't actually live up to that. I did some work and I wasn't supposed to. And that's how I ended up in the emergency room. Nikki knew that was going to happen. If I didn't take a break and rest a few days, that was going to happen. So, and bless her heart, she was right. You know, one of these days I'm going to listen to my better half. I'm going to learn to listen to the one and only person. Unfortunately, I hate to say this because my mother is still alive. And so I really hate to say this, but given everything that's happened here in the past several years anyway, I've come to the conclusion that right now there's only one person on this whole planet that I can put my 100% faith and trust in, and that is my Queen Nikki. Since the very first syllable that she sent me via IM through YouTube, that girl has stood by me 100%. She's given me nothing but love, support, sends me all the energy she can every day. Her and I are like soap and water. You know, we clean each other. We complete each other, you know. Water works pretty good by itself, and soap works pretty good by itself. But you put them together, and you've got one powerful cleaning agent, you know. And that's Nikki and I. We're gonna clean the poisons out of our lives once and for all. I'm almost there, and she is almost here with me. When she gets here, finally, the circle will be complete. 16 years of fighting, kicking, scratching, crawling, crying, complaining, begging, pleading, and living at the mercy of a merciless society, at the whims of this very materialistic, consumer-driven society. Finally, I will finally have my life back. That's what I want. That's the one and only thing that I am asking for, is to please give me the right to take care of myself the way I need to take care of myself, and leave me the fuck alone. That's all. I'm not going to bother you. I just don't want you to bother me anymore. I want to get this one onto YouTube because I need to continue relaxing. I'm going to go in there and utilize that nice tub in there. At some point, I need to send IM to my sweetie and let her know that I'm following her orders. I am resting and relaxing. I haven't IM'd her since I think it was 7 o'clock this morning. Now she knows that I'm resting and relaxing. She knows that I'm okay. But she may be a little worried about me at the same time, because she also knows that, well, I've had a stroke. And I don't care what that doctor says. He did no tests whatsoever to find out for sure whether or not I've had a stroke. He just asked me a few questions and says, nope, the symptoms don't match that of a stroke. So you know what he did? After he, he, he gives me a baby aspirin and sends me home. Yeah, like I said, aspirin is one of the good man-made medicines. But at the same time, right after he gave me that aspirin, he realized that, oh wow, he's allergic to Toradol. Maybe I shouldn't have given him that aspirin. The doctor made his mistake and admitted it to my face after the fact. And then I had to sit there, of course, under observation for at least a half hour, about an hour, to ensure that he wasn't going to have to hit me with some Benadryl to stop the allergic reaction should I have one. Oh, people. This is so damn funny, it's not even funny, okay? And the only reason that I have put this whole crusade on film and put it out there for the world to see on YouTube the way I have is because until I did this, it's been my word against theirs. And you saw the way I was living prior to this. You've seen how people call me a dumb pothead. Ask yourself, no matter what the situation, no matter what's happened, no matter what the truth is, whose word are you apt to believe? The word of a dumb pothead or the word of a college-educated doctor? Well, I've done this so that it isn't just my word against his or theirs. I have used their own words against them to prove my point. I empower you to do the same. If you are on a rainbow of medications and you're still feeling sick, people, question why. Ask your doctor what the purpose of those medications are, which ones of them are absolutely necessary, and which ones are not. And by all means, people, make him answer this question. Which one of them is safer and more effective than marijuana? You'd be surprised at his answer.